What's going on, everyone? It's Rich Lex. Okay, we got a lot to talk about. Trisha Paytas is back in the news again. Trisha Boom Boom Paytas. Let's talk about it. I'm going to keep it real. She recently announced that she will be playing in the Broadway show Beetlejuice. Now, I talked about this last week on my Tiki-Talkie. I was one of the first to break the news. It was just rumors back then, but I heard from some sources that it would pretty much was going to happen. Made that video. Nobody cared. Y'all call me a liar. Clout chaser. Reach, lux, anything for views, clickbait. If you're not clickbaiting, are you even trying? So anyways, Trisha Paytas today announced that she will be on the Broadway show. And now she's not going to be Beetlejuice, but she's playing a character in the Broadway show. Apparently, it was a character that writing for her, which is, they don't often do that on Broadway shows. So you're going to be doing it for 3 weeks, right? So, you know what? Congratulations to Trisha. I know that she's been obsessed, because y'all like to say, I'm so obsessed. I'm obsessed. I'm so obsessed. I'm obsessed. Whatever. I just report the news, girl. Anyways, congratulations to Trisha. Good for her. Is she going to put in some work? And I think she needs this. I think she was fun. Lately she's been looking kind of haggard and her, tired, with the 3 kids and the husband. But then now that we celebrated Trisha and Beetlejuice, there's the backlash. Yep. Anytime you get recognized or popular, there's always backlash. And I know there's people in the comments, I can't believe, do you know her past? I get the gig. Yes, we know she's problematic. We know she has said and done some. But apparently, I guess, the new management company that she has, the one that thinks with Emma Chamberlain, I think it's the same management company. It's okay. People grow, right? People can grow, and I do believe that people can change, but change does not happen overnight. It's been some time. Good for her.
Breaking Broadway team mega exclusive. As I hear that internet personality Trisha Paytas is going to be coming to Broadway in a revival of a musical that's actually opening this season. And if you think you can guess what show and what role Trisha is doing, I promise you, you cannot. When I first heard Trisha was coming to Broadway, I thought she might be playing Columbia in the revival of the Rocky Horror Show that's going to be opening at Studio 54, because I could just see the vision, but it turns out that's not the case. It turns out this show has written a new role and a new track for Trisha Paytas to join their production, which is the first time I can think of that an already established musical wrote a new role for a celebrity to come join a already established musical in hopes that this time this musical finally makes a profit. Because I hear that the producers of Beetlejuice the musical are not taking chances this time and have hired Trisha Paytas to do a 2 to 3 week run in an original role that has been written just for her involvement. And I don't want to spoil what that role is, because I think what that role is half the fun of Trisha doing it. But I can already see a lot of you in the comments getting very up in arms. And I don't think I'm one to tell you that you can't be up in arms. Trisha Paytas has one of the most controversial past on the internet, even though I would say she has tried to apologize and atone for the things she has done in the past, even though I will also say that I am not part of the marginalized groups that Trisha hurt, so I am not the person who can tell you if that apology was genuine and actually helped the community heal. But I do think Trisha in her 30s has tried to make a 180 and tried to be a better person, even if she has made some monumental mistakes. And frankly, acting like Trisha Paytas coming to Broadway is either morally the worst thing to happen to Broadway or talent-wise the worst thing to happen to Broadway seems a little bit disingenuous when James Barber was allowed to play the Phantom of the Opera on Broadway and talk to school groups afterwards, after he served time in jail for what he did in the dressing room of his last Broadway show before that. People don't complain about the photographer who was dating the Broadway star while he was a grown adult. People don't even complain when bad stunt casting is men. I didn't see that many people up in arms when Billy Ray Cyrus tripped his way through Chicago the Musical on Broadway.
Give on the old razzle dazzle, razzle dazzle. Lots of flashing and the reaction.
No razzles were dazzled that night. It kind of does feel like one of those things where people are harder on Trisha because Trisha is a woman. I've kind of thought Trisha was this generation's Andy Kaufman at all points, and that everything that comes with being this generation's Andy Kaufman has been on Trisha's back, and she has made giant mistakes that I feel like she has tried to make up for. Can Trisha really sing?
Just the feeling of freedom of seeing the light. It's been freaking with a can of kite. You see it, right?
No. Can Trisha really dance? Not on a Broadway caliber. Can Trisha really act? Not really that either. But for some reason, I think this is fun as we enter this kind of postmodern Broadway landscape where nothing is real and everything is expensive. I say write a role for Trisha Paytas to join Beetlejuice. It's not like Beetlejuice the musical made any money in the much smaller Broadway houses that it played prior to opening at the Palace this fall. Why not at least try to make a cent this time? I say we do more of this. I say it's kind of a shame that Gypsy Rose Blanchard has not played Roxy on Broadway with Mama Morton in the chair played by Abby Lee Miller. Tom Scandaball can play the lawyer. I say if Broadway is going to become a whole bunch of nothingness slop, which Broadway is a whole bunch of nothingness slop, I sat through Pretty Women the musical. We may as well have fun with it. I didn't think Beetlejuice the musical was any kind of high-class material. I know that some of you are already typing, is it fair to write a new role in a musical for a celebrity to come to Broadway when so many people who have struggled and trained for so many years to be on Broadway cannot find work on Broadway? Yeah, I would say that's cynical, and I would also say there's a reality involved where Beetlejuice never makes money on Broadway, and Trisha has a huge amount of followers and support behind her who will sell out the show just because she's in it for about 10 minutes. I say if Broadway is going to get postmodern and icky, we may as well have fun with it. That's why I advocated for Masquerade, the immersive version of Phantom of the Opera. If I'm paying $230 to go see a musical, I at least want to ride down an escalator while Christine and the Phantom sing in my face. Let's have fun with it. Embrace the corniness, embrace the camp. It's all over anyway. The Broadway ecosystem, you grew up with it, has popped. The actors want to go on tour. The investors don't want to give money to any of this anymore. And audience members have said we're done paying $200 for your when we could pay $100 to go to Disneyland instead. I say embrace Trisha Paytas coming to Broadway. I say, Trisha, let me on your podcast. Just Trish, when you are in New York City, we can gossip about how petty this community is and how, frankly, banal their art is that they make. Let Trisha Paytas come to Broadway. Give her a live mic and let her say anything she wants for 5 minutes. It'll be much more fun than the score in the book of Beetlejuice, if I'm being 100% real. And if any producers like Ken Davenport want to add a little bit of spice to Broadway Vacation, the musical, I'm also available as an influencer who can step in and make your production just a little bit more campy, because if the ship is going down, we may as well have fun with the ship as it's going down. I love a reality where Trisha Paytas is on Broadway when Roger currently is not. Real ones know what I'm talking about. I say the ship is hit the iceberg and has broken in half. At least let the orchestra play something that makes me smile while we sink. And that's your Broadway tea. You can believe it or not. If you have Broadway tea, you can use that email right there. Write in and always remain anonymous. Charlie D'Amelio in & Juliet. Trisha Paytas in Beetlejuice. Again, when is Gypsy Rose going to play Roxy? Chicago the musical, you're wasting money not using that idea.
Well, of course, there's the backlash. And one of the things that came across my feed, if I can find it, is there's this clip circulating of Trisha basically saying, you know, thank you to Moses because he basically enables her to be a princess, and how Moses takes care of the kids and all that stuff like that. And I was thinking, if I find the clip, I'll put it right. I'll put it up here shortly, and let me talk for 2 more minutes, and I'll put the clip in. There's this clip when she's doing the steak review, and Moses is cutting the steak for her. I thought to myself, now that she's had children, and Moses is taking care of the children, it's almost like he's also treating her like a child and and fixing her food and getting her ready and doing everything. You know what I'm saying? If you can pick up what I'm putting down. So now it's like, let's say if they have 3 kids, she's now the 4th kid, because then Moses is also taking care of her. It's just out there. That's what I picked up from that video. And I'll play you the clip in a minute. Literally 1 minute. And I was thinking to myself, like, you know, I was reading the comments, and a lot of people were very upset that she is able to navigate this life being weighted on hand and foot and not really have to put that much work into it because Moses does everything. Got it. I was like, yeah, Moses is doing everything. Trisha does kind of act like that. And then there were glimpses when they post pictures in their home. That house looks like a hoarder house. Like the amount of stuff that house has, they need a bigger home. Like they feel like they outgrew that home already. And a lot of it's just Trisha stuff. It's like a live-in storage unit. It's kind of like the vibe, right? It's like Pee-wee's Playhouse in a way. I like that. But I was thinking to myself, I saw the comments. People are actually kind of upset and furious because maybe they have to pick up the kids from school, get them ready, and Trisha doesn't do any of that. Moses does all that. That's what it seemed like from the video that she had said, right? So then I was thinking to myself, let's roll the clip. Let's let the people decide, and we'll come back after the jump and we'll talk about it. So grab a snack and come on back. Here we go.
You know what I mean? Can I tell you guys, he packs everything, the bags, the car, the kids' toys, the food. Like, I do get to be a princess. I really do get to just sit there, and he never makes me feel bad about it. Usually I'd have to like hide or something if I'm like trying to avoid doing something. But Moses just now lets me just sit and be a princess. Oh, I gotta try this.
Okay, and of course there's other people who are talking about Trisha Paytas as well on TikTok and things like that. All right, so I just want to deep dive into this. How can I say this without getting canceled? Well, I'm just one more cancellation away from getting YouTube famous being. I would say this, right? Trisha, I believe, has cultivated a world where she is like a queen of her own world, king of her own kingdom, or queen of her own queendom, however you want to say it, right? She has manipulated things to her favor. The mom helps her out. The sister helps her out. Moses helps her out. It's a lot of moving parts, okay? And some people are very jealous of that. I see it, right? When I look at it, and I see it, I see it like Chanel. I see both sides of it. You know, when you look at the Chanel logo, you no matter how you look at it, front or back, you see both sides of it. I see both sides of this Trisha Paytas situation. And what I gather is, here you have a woman who has a husband that waits on her hand and foot, that does so much for her. So does the mom and her sister, and everyone kind of just plays second chair, third chair, fourth chair to her life. And because she's the breadwinner, I believe that she pays all these people, they're on her payroll, that things of that nature. Maybe they borrow things from her. I get the gig. But now I also see other people who are in similar situations as Trisha, and they either have it set up where they, and man, this is very difficult. I'm navigating this as best as I can, guys, so bear with me here. If you're going to judge me kindly. But oftentimes when you have really successful people, they have people around them that enable them. Yes, men, yes, women, right? And it helps succeed, and they keep growing, and they're able to thrive, right? Sometimes it works against them, but in this case with Trisha, it's working for her. Now, I do think that it's, in some aspects, it is a disadvantage to her that she's not maybe there for the kids or know their schedule or being like a diehard, really good mom. You know what I'm saying? I think that her career is always coming first and everyone else second. But then it has to be that way because she's the one who's bringing in all the money. I mean, she's going on Broadway for 3 weeks. Who's going to watch the kids? Who's going to clean the house? Who's going to feed them, right? So, but then Trisha she has this tendency to always self-sabotage things, but she hasn't done this, right? And good for her. I'm not expecting her to it. If she does, we'll sit here and report on it. But as so far, she's doing great. I thought her getting married to Moses and having the kids, that she would self-sabotage those things. So far, she hasn't. She's doing a pretty good job of keeping all the glue together. Now, whether it's held by a thin piece of glue or actually really strong, we don't know. There's a lot of smoke and mirrors. We don't know what really goes on behind the scenes when the camera's off, right? But I will say that, like, I understand people's frustration when they see Moses and everyone else around her cater to her hand and foot. I think that there's maybe a little bit of animosity there. Because if they had people waiting for them hand and foot, maybe they'll love it. But then you have those people who don't want stuff like that. I'm the type of person, I enjoy the fluff. Yes, bring me the 10 assistants. Yes, bring me the driver. I like the fluff. It's fun. It's good. It puts on a show, right? But there's also people who don't want any of that, right? And it may be those people who are commenting about Trisha being weighed on hand and foot. Maybe they're that type of person. But I also feel like, keeping it real, it is doing herself a disadvantage if she's not really being there as a wife or a mother or a sister or a daughter. You know what I'm saying? So I see it. But it just comes with the gig. At this level, she chose her career and she's trying to have her kids too. And this is what we're getting. So anyways, let me let you go. I can't wait to see what you guys have to say in the comment section down below. This is Rich Lives with the hottest celebrity news gossip on YouTube. Love you so much. Bye.